Hello guys, I'm Unblessed Data, and welcome to another review. This time we have Arrow Season 1, Episode 17, The Huntress's Return. So, yep, you got it right, Arrow is back and action. So, yeah, really happy that it's back. Hated how there was a little bit of a break there, and I just hate breaks. They really tear me apart with a show. Can't wait for more with Arrow, and just that break really killed me. But before I get into this review, just want to let you guys know that it will contain spoilers, so if you do not want to know what happened, go watch the episode and come back here. So let's get right into this review. Right when we start off, it's kind of awkward a little bit, because we're in like a strip club, right? And this guy goes up, and basically we see Helena, aka the Huntress, and she's basically a stripper in the strip club, which was kind of weird. Just seeing her like that, it's like, okay. And she brings this guy in the back room, and then she like reveals that she's Helena, and the guy's like, oh sorry, and it's actually Helena's dad's attorney. And Helena asks her like where my dad is, blah blah blah, and he basically tells her what he knows, and then she kills him right away. Like, that was a big opening right there, and, it was cool just to start off with a little bit of a bang. So we get right into the episode at that point, and we see Oliver, and he's at his club, which on the bottom is his little Arrow cave, like Arrow headquarters, and it looks like that his club is pretty much done. They have lights everywhere, it looks finished. And then we go to Laura. This episode kind of jumps between a bunch of different things. Then we go to Laura and Laura's mom and her dad, and they all kind of meet together, but without the dad like agreeing to meet. And Laura's mom basically tells her, I think Sarah's still alive, and she shows them a picture a tourist took, and it looks like it's Sarah, their sister, but they're not very sure because her face is kind of covered. But they're basically saying that Sarah could have done the same thing as Oliver and washed up on an island. So I guess yeah, that could have happened, but I'm really interested in seeing if she is alive, if Sarah is still alive. She didn't drown when the yacht sank. That's like first world problems. I drowned when my yacht sank. But that's not really first world problems. It's like first death problems. But anyway, if she is still alive, will she develop into a superhero? Because there's a possibility maybe for like a Wonder Woman, because it won't really be Wonder Woman because the story would be a little bit different. But maybe she like washes up on the island where Wonder Woman's from. That'd be kind of cool. But again, they would kind of be wrecking the Wonder Woman story, just kind of like altering it a little bit. But I kind of would be fine with that, I guess. So we could see where that's going. Maybe it's going there. I don't know. We actually find out that Oliver was in an island in the North China Sea. So that gives us a little bit, where Oliver was that 5 years. So that's kind of cool. And basically, Laura's dad is really angry because he's basically has to relive, like, basically Sarah dying because now he has this rekindled hope that she's still alive, and he just wants to say no, she's dead. That's it. He doesn't want to relive it, which I understand. Then we go to Thea, my favorite character of this sarcasm. And Thea runs into the purse snatcher again, whose name is apparently Roy. I could be wrong with that because I don't know, the way they say names in the show, it's really muffled. And they don't say his name quite often, so I'm pretty sure it's Roy, but I could be wrong. If I am wrong, you can go ahead and correct me, but I'll call him Roy from now on, the purse snatcher guy. At this point, I'm pretty sure he's Red Arrow. He's always wearing red. And kind of something similar that kind of leads me to think that he's Red Arrow is that Thea's nickname is Speedy. Now, in the comics, Red Arrow's nickname is also Speedy. So I think that's going to kind of lead into something where he basically finds out Thea's nickname, like, oh, your nickname's Speedy? That's kind of stupid. And then probably Thea will say something along the lines of, oh, if it's so stupid, I'll start calling you that. It's perfect setup for that. I guarantee that's going to happen. But yeah, almost 100% he's Arrow. Right when he first appeared, I was like, Red Arrow maybe? And now I'm pretty much sure that it is. We'll see though. Maybe he isn't, maybe he's not, but I don't know. So Thea asks him to work for Oliver at the club. And he's kind of resistant to it, but it looks like he will accept it maybe. He kind of just brushes her off. Then we go to Oliver, and his club's open, and Helena comes to Oliver's house. She's in the house just as herself, not as Huntress. And Thea asks Oliver for if he can hire Roy for a job, and he says, yeah, sure, whatever. And then we see why Helena has returned. She's looking for her dad because he's trying to plan like a little bit of an identity switch so he can get out of like prison and all that and just live as like a new name, new everything, far away, so he doesn't have to spend his life in jail. And she's basically saying, my dad doesn't deserve a second chance on this. And she wants Oliver's help because she can't take down basically the police force with just her. So it's like the SWAT. So of course Oliver says no right away, and she says, well, maybe I have to be more persuasive. You have a family too. Threats all around. But yeah, so yeah, it was just basically a threat. And then we see Tommy again. We haven't seen Tommy in a little, and he basically says he's mad at Oliver because he basically realizes Oliver's a murderer, a killer. You know, he's killing people. So we can see a little tension between there too. Then the flashback. Love these flashbacks. So we're going to another flashback, and just to refresh your memory, Oliver and Slade were looking at missile launchers. So that's where we are right now, and they're basically decided, well, this is something big. It's these missile launchers, they're not using it to blow up one small thing. This is like full out war they're going to use these for, because there's no other thing they can use it for. That was a really short flashback, but go back to the present. And let's take a look, even if she's wrong. This is basically what Laurel's trying to convince her dad to think, well, okay, you know what? Maybe Mom is wrong. Maybe Sarah isn't alive. But let's just take a look. You know, what's the chance? Like, what do we have to lose? Like, if she's alive, you know, she's alive. So then we see Oliver's club. It's up and running. There's people all in it. And basically, Thea goes up to him and says, did you call Roy, like, for the job? And he said, yeah, he starts tomorrow. Okay, so we can see that he's actually going to work there, so, you know, that's good, I guess. It kind of brings him into contact with Oliver. Red Arrow starts up, maybe. And then Helena goes up to Tommy, which is kind of interesting. But Helena basically takes him captive. He pins him down and kind of puts his arm up, like almost like she's gonna break his arm. And they're downstairs in the club in this Arrow's little base. So it's quite a coincidence that Tommy just learned that Oliver was Arrow, because if he didn't, he was gonna learn right there. So that was kind of, you know, wow. But so then Oliver basically, he kind of realizes he can't kill her or like turn her into the police, because then she could say, you know, Oliver's Arrow. But he says, I can control her. So basically she makes a deal with him and she lets Tommy go, but he like fractures his arm or breaks his arm or something like that, his wrist. So he was in a lot of pain there. So they find out the authorities are taking Helena's father to a courthouse, and they're taking two vans. One's a decoy and one actually has him in it. So they plan on going one each to the vans, and whoever has him has him. Now we go back to the flashback. And basically in the flashback, Oliver dresses up as a guard, and he basically pretends like he's turning Slade in. He's like, oh, I found someone on the perimeter, like, and then one of the other guards, the real guard, comes up and he says, you know, you've killed some of my friends, like, I'm gonna kill you, basically. And then Slade gets up, he has two guns on his back, it looks like he's handcuffed, but he's just holding his guns. He's like, well, I'm gonna kill a few more, and they just kill everyone there. So, like, that was pretty crazy. Back to the present, there's really just some short flashbacks in this episode, but back to the present. Laura knows Tommy is lying to her, because when they communicate, he's kind of like, it's really obvious that he's lying. That's basically all I can say. He's a liar. But it's bringing some tension between Laurel and Tommy himself and their relationship. I don't know. I don't really think their relationship is that good. It's not really, doesn't really add anything to the show. It's just tension and fluff, I guess. It's really just, yeah, it's just filler. It's kind of entertaining, but whatever. Then we see Roy turn down Thea's job offer, and she actually goes to his house and says, like, you know, what's up? Why don't you come? He's like, oh, you think I have to, like, do your bidding and stuff, like, whatever. He's really cocky, I guess. He doesn't want to put himself down. I don't know. So he, like, declines the offer, kind of just brushes her off, like, get out of here. So then as Thea is going back home, like, walking, obviously they're in a bad area of town. So she runs into some hijackers, and they're basically just gonna jump Thea and steal all her stuff. Then Red Arrow, Roy jumps out, does like parkour hardcore, like jumping around everywhere, punches out all the guys, and he's like really cool. I don't know, like he's just doing some really cool stuff, and we can see that he has some fighting skills. Where did he get them? I don't know. I'm sure it'll be brought up later, but come on, he has to be Red Arrow at this point. Like, this is just going so far into like developing his character. He's got to be something big. So after that, Oliver and Helena go after both vans, and when Oliver, as Arrow, like breaks open the van, he has the decoy. So then Helena goes to her van, breaks it open, and her van actually was also a decoy, but her van actually had SWAT in it, so they arrested Helena as Huntress and brought her in. And at this point, you can kind of think that maybe she thinks Oliver set it up for her to get caught. But she doesn't, because as we move on further into this episode, Laurel's dad brings her Helena in and starts questioning her, and she like obviously unmasks her, so they know she's Helena. And he basically asks who's the hood, and basically says, you know, you're going to jail. There's no way out of that, but we can make it a little bit better if you tell me who the hood is. And then she says this. She says Oliver Queen, and I was like, what? He knows it's Arrow now? But she wasn't referring to that. Oliver's girlfriend, who's also like a detective, works for the police, was in the same room, and she says, Oliver Queen, you're dating him, right? And she's like, yeah, well, you know, and she's like, well, I'll tell you, all he's gonna do is use you like he did me. So, like, we can see, like, okay, she's kind of giving a hint that Oliver's Arrow there, just bringing him up all of a sudden, but it's not directly, so they won't make the connection, because obviously it's a TV show. But then like the lights go out and everything, and basically gas goes everywhere, and Oliver breaks Helena out of jail, which is like, okay, why don't you just leave her? Like, she's in the right position for you. But I guess he was scared that she was gonna reveal who he was, so I guess that's where that comes from. Then Roy, Thea takes Roy to the hospital because while he was fighting and protecting her, he actually got stabbed in the stomach. So then the doctor's about to give him a needle, and Roy's like, oh man, I'm afraid of needles, like, I don't know what to do. And then all of a sudden, Thea kisses him, and like, we can see, like, yeah, this is going to be like a big character in this series. If not, I don't know why they're spending all this random time on him, but whatever. Then we go back to Oliver and Helena, and Oliver gives Helena a ticket and passport to Rome, and says basically, just go off, start a new life, forget about it all here. Yeah. Which is a good option. I would have took that if I was Helena, but she's stupid, so she doesn't. And he basically says, get out of my city, and she really disobeys. So, but before that, flashback, my favorite. Oliver and Slade are putting charges on the missile launcher, and Oliver takes the circuit board out of the missile launcher instead. It really didn't look like the circuit board, what he took, but whatever. And they're going to basically use it for leverage to basically do what they want, to make the other guy do what they want. Back to the present, the IT girl finds out a high-powered crossbow was stolen from the store. So she's basically saying, you know, probably Helena didn't leave. And then all of a sudden, Helena's right behind her and ties her up. Wow, she just tied her up. Like, I thought she was going to kill him. Like, you're right there with the crossbow pointing at her, and like, she has nothing to do with you. Like, if you kill her right now, nothing's gonna happen. Definitely thought she was gonna kill her, but whatever. That was the first wow moment of this episode, and there's another wow moment, so get ready for that one. But yeah, so she just kind of scares her and makes her hack in and find out information for her. And she finds out that her dad's held up in a safe house, so Helena goes to the safe house, of course, to go kill her dad. Then we go to, so then we like do a little cut to the safe house, and Helena's there, and she's killing everyone. I mean, everyone. And this brings up a good point. Oliver always says, I'm not going to kill people for no reason. Like, they have to do really bad, blah, blah, blah. I only kill certain people. But he kills the guards that are guarding these people, like, so fast, like, without thinking. It's like, okay, what did they do wrong? Like, isn't that true? Like, I don't know. That's just my opinion, I guess. But yeah, so then Helena's killing everyone. Oliver obviously shows up, and Helena's dad runs out the window, jumps out the window, and just runs away. And then, so then Oliver and Helena are kind of at a standoff. They both had their arrows at each other, like, you know, at a standoff. And basically Oliver basically says, I should have done this a long time ago, and he shoots her. Which I was like, whoa! And this was another wow moment. Helena catches the arrow. Wow. Like, honestly, come on, okay? Thing already did that. Deathstroke already did that, so you're basically replaying that. She says, oh, I've been training because I knew you were going to do that. Like, that's so set up, like, honestly. And after that, they basically just throw fist fight for a while. Then Oliver's girlfriend shows up, the detective, like, cop guy, detective, like, cop girl. So she shows up, and she's like, oh, you know, stand down. She doesn't know that Oliver's arrow, but they're both there. And then all of a sudden, Helena shoots Oliver's girlfriend with a shotgun. Wow, that's another wow moment. I was mistaken. There wasn't 2, there was 3 wow moments. Shoots her directly with a shotgun. She's on the floor, bloody. Oh, wait, there's another wow moment because she's still alive. She got shot with a shotgun, and she's still alive. Was she wearing a bulletproof vest? She must have. I don't know, they never say. So she's just in the hospital, and Oliver goes and visits her, and they basically end their relationship right there. Bye-bye. Didn't really like you, so whatever. And yeah, she's moving away, so that's basically why they're doing that. And then Laurel's dad and mom talk again, and yeah. Then the last part of this episode is another flashback. Nice way to end it. Nice flashback. I love that, how to end that episode. They want to make a trade for the circuit board. They're talking to the evil guy, and they want to way off the island for the circuit board. So that's basically where it ends. Obviously, that's not what happens, but it'll be cool to find out what did happen. So yeah, pretty good episode overall. I actually really enjoyed it. Hope you did, guys, too. Just tell me what you thought in the comments below about this episode. If you want to ask me any questions or anything, go ahead. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. Stay tuned for more news and reviews, and I'll talk to you guys later. You can follow me on Twitter at unblesseddata, and peace out, guys. See ya.